Hey, how's it going, guys? So, this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, it's been a pretty wild ride for a lot of us. And in particular, it's been a really wild ride for me. I started the whole Epstein thing thinking it was a whole bunch of hooey way back in the day. And these days, it's almost 2026, and things are looking a little bit concerning, not gonna lie. So I just like to take you guys through my journey and how things have kind of developed for me. Um, so I'd say the first interaction that I had with this kind of stuff was probably Pizzagate. If you guys remember that back in like 2015 during the election with Hillary versus Trump, I got sent the Pizzagate files, and I read a bit, and it was pretty insane, right? And I was like, okay, fair enough. That's about what I expected. And that's kind of how it is with all conspiracy theories ever, at least as far as I'm aware. And so, this is just another conspiracy theory that I kind of put under the rug. You know, if evidence comes out, I'll change my mind. But in the meantime, I'm not going to waste my time speculating on stuff, right? And I think that's kind of how the Democratic Party in general felt about the whole Epstein files thing. I mean, we had January 6th. We had like a lot of things to like actually worry about, you know? I mean, Merrick Garland was not, I don't think, concerned about the Epstein files of all things. We had like an attempted coup to worry about. And not only that, but God bless Joe Biden's heart, he also retained Trump's FBI director. So if I'm being frank, I don't think anyone looked at the files at all during the Joe Biden term. I don't think it was a priority. Honestly, I think for most of the term, they kind of thought Trump wasn't going to be elected again. So it's like, you know, we'll get to it when we get to it. And I mean, heck, maybe Clinton's in there, so maybe we don't want to. Anyway, um, yeah, so that's kind of where I was. I was like, I mean, Epstein killed himself. Yeah, that's kind of weird, sure, but whatever. I'm over it, right? And then the Trump admin happens. Oh my god, dude! Like, okay, they were talking so much game, January through like May.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing.
Pam Bondi is saying the files are on desk, her desk, right? So it's like, all right, that was in April, I think. So I was thinking, oh shit, maybe they have something. Maybe I should have an open mind here. Let's see what the DOJ actually has. Because if they're releasing something, I'll look at it. And then this is what really made me this is what really made me worry, is when Elon Musk said that Trump's in the Epstein files.
Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day. Jesus Christ.
I was like, I mean, at this point, we kind of knew that Trump might have been on like the flight logs or something, but that's honestly all we knew at that point. Like at that point, I was thinking more about like Prince Andrew and stuff. And then Elon Musk said that this is the guy who was in Doge. He had access to everything, and now he's saying that Trump's in the files, and that's the biggest swing you could take at the president. At that time, he was going all out. And yeah, so I took that seriously. And then what was it like? It was either June 6th or July 6th of 2025 when they said, yeah, actually, Epstein was trafficking everyone to himself, and there was nobody at all to worry about. We got Maxwell. Don't worry about it anymore.
You what?
And I mean, honestly, when that happened, I thought, I wasn't too shocked, and I was like, maybe they don't have evidence, or maybe they're covering it up. Like, I'm a jaded liberal. I kind of expected this kind of stuff in a sense. But then like the MAGA reaction was insane. That was insane. I mean, God bless the USA. Everyone who was standing up against the sex trafficking pedophiles, they, for the most part, actually meant it. So good for them, for standing up for their principles against party, right? And you know, then more and more started coming out. Like we got that birthday book, which, by the way, I got to refresh your memory. First, I think it was the Wall Street Journal said, "Hey, we have this birthday book," and they gave like a description of the page. It was like, it sounded pretty bad. And the Trump admin immediately said, "What are you talking about? This does not exist. No idea what you're talking about." JD Vance was like, "Enigma? Really? You think Trump says enigma?" And and then it turns out the book exists. So what was that? Does nobody? I know that people care a lot that the Trump admin is like actively covering all this up, but I mean, at that point, that's when I was like, okay, what is going on? And now this, here's the crux of it, okay? Quite recently, I think it was this month or last month, we got the email transcripts of, don't quote me on this, but I think it was Maxwell emailing Epstein. It was the Trump is the dog that doesn't bark comments, where, okay, so this is what the emails say, all right? At this point, Trump should be aware that Virginia Dufresne is being heavily creeped on by Epstein, at least, right? This is after Virginia presumably got poached by Epstein because she's currently at Maxwell's house alone, right? And then what happens? Apparently, Trump goes to Maxwell's house, the convicted child sex trafficker's house, to be alone with Virginia Dufresne for hours, says the emails. Okay, so why do you go to a sex trafficker's house to be alone with one of the rape victims for hours? Okay. And apparently this was a setup because Maxwell was like surprised that Trump didn't do anything. So, yeah, that's pretty bad, right? I mean, and at this point, it's like, okay, so we now know that the Epstein estate at least claims that Trump was alone, willingly alone for hours with like what, a 15-year-old girl, however old she was at that point, and Trump still isn't releasing the files. Like, dude, what is in these files, dude? Trump is destroying his own presidency right now over these files, and some pretty bad stuff has been leaked out. So it's like, does that mean that there's worse stuff in these files? Like, Trump is literally like, this guy has a great self-preservation instinct. He doesn't give a shit about anyone else. I don't think that he's protecting anyone in his circle. I think he has to be protecting himself, right? So it's like, what's in the files, man? So yeah, I mean, I'll be real. I'm genuinely concerned that there's going to be some shocking stuff in these files, and how the MAGA movement handles it and how our country handles it, in particular, how the Republican legislators handle this. That's going to be interesting. What is it? 6 more days until the files are supposed to be released. It's not going to happen, and I'll tell you why. Because if they wanted to release the files, it would have happened by now. There's some serious damage control going on, and a little subpoena or a little discharge petition, all that, I don't think that's going to stop anyone. So yeah, and that's my opinion on all of this. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, ring that bell, comment, and all that, so that I can make some more videos. Thanks, guys.